Hi, I'm Gareth Spence and welcome to Tech Talk. Managed optical fiber networks, or MOFNs for short, have been driving a lot of discussions at this year's Adtran Symposium. Adtran's Stefan Voll is helping to drive the company's strategy and joins me now. Stefan, for those unfamiliar with the term, can you explain what a MOFN is?
Sure, glad to be here. So MOFN is short for Managed Optical Fiber Network. What it means, it's a dedicated build for one dedicated customer, but operated by a third party. Usually that would be a service provider. When you think about overall services, like you can have like home built optical networks, maybe on a dark fiber, or you could buy a capacity service. Managed optical fiber networks is somewhere in between, where you actually get a dedicated infrastructure built, but without the burden to actually operate that, without the need to have specific resources in-house with specific skill set to operate that. So there's a couple of things coming with that for the service customer. So they don't need an operational department. They have dedicated infrastructure where they can say what is happening and they don't have to fear somebody else impeding on them. Second thing is like they can deploy new services very quickly. Maybe a third thing, which is maybe not that obvious initially, is when you have a service provider who is operating in many different geographies, then you can spin up such a network pretty much anywhere very, very quickly and rapidly, which is, of course, a great asset.
Why is the market for MOFN growing now?
Yeah. So there's mainly two reasons. One is called repatriation. That means that a lot of people have been putting a lot of processes and a lot of data into public cloud. And people realize that now, maybe with business critical applications, maybe that is not such a great idea. And there's a trend to actually take this back home into the own enterprise to be able to control that, be in control of that data, of those processes. And if you want to do that, you need to have a dedicated build again. And if you want to do that without a dedicated operational department, then an MOFN service is the way to go. That's one reason. The other reason is that a lot of companies today might be operating their own private optic network, and they usually don't have a lot of engineering resources. But now suddenly there's so interesting new technology aspects like AI. There's a lot of security which you have to get into. There's the quantum threat which you have to get into. So what a lot of those companies do is they have few engineering resources. They just tell them, please apply yourself to such a new problem and don't go for an operational standard procedure. Let that somebody else do to somebody else, and then you have a service provider doing that for you rather than spending your scarce resources.
Why is Adtran a good partner here?
Yeah, there's a couple of reasons. Maybe start with that's actually why ATFA has been founded. About 30 years ago, ATFA now is, of course, a part of Adtran. So we are in this business for 30 years. So we have a lot of experience. We have a lot of relationship. We know exactly what customers using those services want. We know exactly what different verticals actually need. And as we have been present in this space for so long, we are a de facto choice. We are a safe choice. If you implement a network with us, everybody says, fine, very good, check mark. And of course, we also have been providing a lot of new features, and we probably have the most complete portfolio in that space.
What are the latest developments from Adtran in this space?
Yeah, there's a lot actually. Let's start with security. Lately, quantum computers have come to the surface, and everybody thinks that somewhere in between 5 to 15 years, we'll have quantum computers which can decipher what we're currently using for encryption. Basically, the key exchange and the key protocols are what is under threat. In order to protect against that, for let's say a collect now, decrypt later attack, there's post-quantum cryptography algorithm. We have those in our products already now. You already can buy and deploy them. We are the first vendor to do so across the complete portfolio. We're, as an example, also the first vendor to provide an encrypted 400 gigabit Ethernet. We are the first vendor with an approval for a 400 gigabit Ethernet post-quantum encrypted solution. It just shows you how important that is for us, how much emphasis we put into that topic. Second, in enterprise networks, private builds for enterprises, you don't only need Ethernet services, there's a lot of different protocols, storage area network protocols, mainframe coupling protocols. Also here, a lot of technology first, a complete portfolio, like we were first to provide 64 gig fiber channel as an example. Third is a lot of different verticals need specific solutions, some specific features. It could be hardening for outdoor temperatures. It could be specific resiliency schemes. It could be tolerance against polarization rotation. So there's a couple of, let's say, smaller features, but they're just needed in that vertical. Without it, it doesn't work for that vertical. And Adtran has a very, very complete portfolio for that type of applications.
How is Adtran addressing regulatory requirements such as NIS2 and CER?
Yeah. Maybe let me spell them out first. NIS2, this is the Network and Information Security Directive, and CER is Critical Entity Resiliency Directive. So we are talking about information security, and we are talking about critical infrastructure. It's clear why that is a topic today. Geopolitics is not exactly getting easier these days. Everything is getting more critical these days. And we bring a lot of new tools and features to the table to respond to that. Depending on your local legislation, a lot of our customers' organizations, our customers' organizations have to comply to those directives by, let's say, 2030, maybe a little bit later, maybe a little bit earlier, but around about that. This means like having post-quantum cryptography implemented in your network for everything which is implemented and security relevant. This means about threat detection on your fiber. This is about fiber monitoring. This is about infrastructure monitoring. This is about intrusion detection on infrastructure, where we have a very unique product portfolio, the ALM. This is about also synchronization. So we have I would say we have the most complete portfolio in the industry for critical networks.
Stefan, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks a lot.